Kevin Reese Jr., 10 years old, Houston, Texas. A 13-year-old sister would find her 10-year-old brother in the closet, dead. She called her mother, screaming into the phone. Her mother could barely understand what she was saying. Bullies had written in his tablet prior to him killing himself to do just that. They told him that he didn't belong there. In November, it had gotten physical for Kevin. They punched him and shoved him several times. He came home crying because he didn't fight back. The bullying had persisted. Kevin didn't know what to do. He felt like he was backed into a corner. Quote, "I never thought that he would go this far, never," end quote, said his mother, Crystal Smith. Crystal says her son was goofy. She called him her little goof troop. He loved to draw and paint. He had the biggest smile on the surface. But Kevin had to face constant bullying when he attended Robinson's elementary school, even after Crystal reached out to the school. After Kevin's death, the school would say they never seen any ongoing bullying towards Kevin. Kevin's bedroom is just the way he left it. His book bag, his homework, his school ID card. She won't move anything. Quote, "I just want to find the answers that day. What was going on through his mind," end quote, she said. Kevin passed away on January 21st, 2019. Jeffrey Taylor, 7 years old, out of San Antonio, Texas. Doctors told Lakeisha Cheney that she could not have any children, but she would prove them wrong. She had her only child, Jeffrey. She called him her, quote, "special child," end quote. Jeffrey had ADHD and attended Salcedo's Elementary School. The coroners ruled Jeffrey's death an accidental and not foul play. But Jeffrey's parents knew that this was not accidental. It was intentional, and it was by Jeffrey. The last day of school before winter break, Christmas in 2019. He was crying. He'd cried the hardest he'd ever. Christmas was just days away, and this little boy was crying. He begged and begged, "Don't send me back there." He was telling his mother that he was, quote, "tired," unquote. The children at school bullied him. They called him the N-word, snaggletooth, and they told him that he was ugly. He didn't want to go back to that school. His parents believed that he was scared and embarrassed, and he didn't want to get anybody in trouble. He was dealing with it. He was praying for them. His mother told him that she was going to take care of it. She was planning to go to the school when class resumed after the winter recess and put a stop to it. Lakeisha, she kept a gun in a Bible case under the bed. That morning, she found her case was open and the gun was missing. She went to Jeffrey's room. He was laying in his bed with dried blood on his face. Still in his Batman costume, she grabbed him, she held him, she screamed. His body was hard as a rock. She told him, "I was gonna do it. I was gonna go to the school. I was gonna handle it. I was gonna take care of it." Of course, Salcedo's Elementary could not find any evidence that Jeffrey had been bullied. Jeffrey passed away on December 21st, 2019. Jamal Miles, 9 years old, out of Denver, Colorado. In stickers, Jamal posted the words, "Love, dream, create" on his wall. Jamal, at 9 years old, came out as gay. His mother said she accepted him and told him that she loved him still. Jamal enjoyed riding his orange bike and going to the parks around the city with his family. He loved reading, especially watching his anime cartoons. He was obsessed with his cartoons. She speaks about how Jamal and his older sister had been bullied for over a year at Joe Schumacher Elementary School. He would get teased and taunted at the school, and they did almost nothing to stop it, especially after the kids had found out that he was gay. The bullying had gotten worse. Leah Pierce remembered after work she had taken her children to Starbucks and dinner. When they arrived home, she told them all to go and clean their rooms. Later, she would find Jamal in his room, dead. She administered CPR, but it was too late. Jamal, her 9-year-old son, who styled his own curly hair in the morning, was no longer here. The last time she saw her son's body, she laid next to him for 2 hours, playing his favorite cartoons. One last time. Quote, "They say it gets easier." End quote. She says it gets harder every day. My child died because of bullying. Jamal passed away on August 23rd, 2018. Gabriel Tay, 8 years old, out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Gabriel attended Carson Elementary School. I've read that the school is no stranger to violence and bullying. Gabriel's mother received a call from the school. The nurse said that Gabriel fainted. She checked his vital signs and he was okay. His mother decided to come and get him anyway. She said that he had thrown up a few times that evening, but she didn't know the dynamics of what had happened to her son, and now she feels that everything has been a cover-up. The 24-minute video would show it all, and she urges everyone to watch the video. I did. A larger-sized boy is already in the bathroom, pushing and shoving a student. Gabriel walks in. It looks like he's trying to diffuse the situation between the two students. He actually extends his hand out for a handshake. The larger student, I will refer to as the bully, grabs his hand and slams him up against the wall as hard as he could. Gabriel drops. For 8 minutes, he is lying on the ground. Students come in the bathroom. They look, they poke, they kick, they point. No one does anything. Gabriel is actually unconscious. No one even knew if the bully had even been reprimanded that did this. These were the bully's actions that happened prior and even after. There were numerous bully incidents between 2015 to 2017. One incident, Gabriel was shoved and punched. He would be reprimanded for fighting back. Gabriel actually defended himself. He had enough of this, and he's the one that got in trouble. The mother asked to show footage. She wanted to see the video. The school denied. They didn't show it to her. Gabriel was kicked in a lunchroom, and still his mother was actually denied access to see that footage as well. The bullying incident that was the cause of Gabriel's front teeth to be removed. Her son was being bullied even more often now, and no one was telling her. Again, she believes it was a cover-up. On January 27th, Gabriel was attacked in the bathroom again. He was shoved, and the student had stole his water bottle and attempted to try to shove it down the toilet. Gabriel had told the teacher, but of course, nothing was done. Nothing. She had finally got a chance to see the video again that she wants everyone to see. Gabriel had come home from school around 5:30 p.m. He had taken one of his neckties. His mother would find him later by his bunk bed in his room. She tried to revive him, but he was unresponsive. 911 was called by a neighbor. The neighbor heard her screaming. "It hurts my heart. My son is gone," says Cornelia Reynolds, his mother. She said he was compassionate, kind, full of love and life. Gabriel passed away on January 26, 2017. Nathan Lepo, 7 years old, out of Oak Orchard, Delaware. Nate said he was going away so that he could have some peace. I've read the articles pertaining to Nathan. To make something very chaotic simple, the state was involved in his life. His home life could be very unstable at times. Everyone seemed to have played a role, and everyone said that they had wanted him. Someone close to the situation said they wanted him for all the wrong reasons. Quote, "Why can't they let him be 7 years old and happy?" End quote. Did anyone know how Nathan felt? Did anyone ask how Nathan felt? Seems no. He complained of a stomach ache just hours before Nathan would decide to make that fatal decision. He had been living temporarily with a guardian. Again, I have read everything. I don't want to lift people up and I don't want to put people down. But this kid just wanted stability. It was noted that he wasn't a bad kid, but he was in very bad situations. When I was reading about him, I had to keep checking to see if he was really 7 years old. It seemed like I was reading a story maybe about a 14-year-old. Nathan was a second grader at Long Neck Elementary. He was very active, full of energy, and enjoyed playing outdoors, riding his bike, and going fishing with his dad. Nathan would end it, and he'd be found by his guardian. Nathan passed away on September 22nd, 2015. Tysen Benz 11, Marquette, Michigan. Katrina Goss, Tysen's mother, said 40 minutes earlier her son was just fine. Tysen's 13-year-old girlfriend wanted to pull a pretend prank on her boyfriend. She pretended that she had. Tysen was devastated. The 13-year-old even pretended to be someone else and confirm that she was in fact dead. Tysen posted on his social media that he was going to do the same thing. Everyone knew on the social media page. Everyone knew that it was a prank, and everybody knew that she didn't do it. However, he would follow suit. Tysen decided to repeat his girlfriend's actions. His mother would find him in his bedroom. The 13-year-old girlfriend, I believe, went to juvenile hall for a period of time. But after that, I don't believe she was reprimanded in any type of way. Tysen passed away on April 4th, 2017. Korey Lindsay Jr., 9 years old, out of Brooklyn, Illinois. His nickname was Peanut. There was little information on the web that I could find about Korey. However, his mother had died by 2 years prior, and Korey would repeat the same actions. He was at that time living with his father in their home. Authorities were looking into if Korey may have endured any kind of bullying around that time. Korey passed away March 5th, 2020. My condolences. They are calling this tragic. They're calling this an epidemic. But what are they going to start doing about it? What can you do about it? Sometimes there aren't any threats, there aren't any changes of behavior. There aren't any signs. It's very scary sometimes to know how much of risk your child is at, and that no one will be held responsible afterwards.